Welcome back to another lesson of East Maine 101. I'm your facilitator, City of Jackson Communications Director Kenneth Cummings. And for lesson 36, I am joined with our new Director of Service Innovation, Abby Palmer. Abby, thank you for coming on to East Maine 101. You've been here for how many years now? It all runs together.
Almost 4.
Almost 4 years. Yeah. You started off as we call you up here, our favorite little girl, little Abby Palmer. I still think about that picture we took out front. You've grown into such an amazing teammate here in the mayor's office. I'm excited to talk to you about your new role and your previous roles. But as always, start off, who is Abby? Why is Abby? How is Abby? Talk about Abby Palmer.
Okay. Well, I feel like that's such a broad question, but I am glad to be here. I'm excited. I love working with this team so much, so I'm just happy I've been here for 4 years. But I am a mom, so I have a 1-year-old little girl.
Okay.
My favorite person in the whole world besides my husband. So we've been married for 7 years on Tuesday, so tomorrow will be our 7-year anniversary.
Awesome.
Yeah. So my husband and my baby and I, we live in Atlanta. We love living there. We've got a dog and a cat. We're big animal people. We moved to Jackson, I guess, a little over 4 years ago. Okay. Moved here from Chattanooga. So it was a big change of pace, but we really like living in Jackson and the community that we found here. We really enjoy. Really big on family. So we do family dinners every Monday with my husband's family and get all the cousins together, all the kids, and just enjoy each other's company. And it's so much fun. So that's what we do on a weekly basis.
Okay. So what brought you to Jackson?
So back to his family again. So when COVID hit, we were both working in the service industry. I was finishing up my master's degree, and we both kind of wanted a change of pace and to move into a different career, but we weren't really sure what that was going to look like. And then both of our places of employment shut down during COVID. And so mine actually shut down long term. And so we didn't really have jobs at that point. And so I ended up getting a job in Huntsville, Alabama. So we moved to Huntsville for a year. We realized pretty quickly that was not our place.
Okay.
And that we did not love Huntsville. So we were looking at kind of our next move. And, at that point, we were a little getting priced out of Chattanooga. It was growing so fast, and the housing market was just insane. And we were looking at our options, and Ethan's whole family lives here in Jackson, and they all love it. And they've all slowly migrated here over the years, and all of them went to Union. So I think that's kind of how everybody ended up back here in Jackson. But we were looking at our options, and we felt like Jackson was a good place to come to be with family. And I think it's been a great decision.
Awesome. So you were in Chattanooga for a while.
Yes.
So talk about what were you doing at that point before, when you said COVID shut y'all down? What were you doing in Chattanooga? You say you're working in the service industry. Yeah. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So we met in Chattanooga. So I moved there for college. So when I was 18, we both went to the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. Okay. So love UTC. So that was kind of what kept us there. We were there for almost 10 years. So yeah, we were there. I finished up my bachelor's degree at UTC, and then took a few years to just kind of figure out, who I was as an adult and what I wanted to do with my life. And so we were working in restaurants. We started out our kind of restaurant career working at Mellow Mushroom. That's where my husband and I met. And that was a lot of fun. Okay. We both worked there for 4 or 5 years. And then we kind of moved into working in fine dining, both of us did. So we both worked in kind of higher end restaurants that dealt with kind of like seafood and stuff like that. Learned a lot about wine, a lot about bartending, a lot about just food in general, especially oysters. Okay. Pretty interesting world.
I love oysters. Love seafood altogether. So you say you got your master's, and what did you get your master's in?
Yeah, so I got my master's in tourism development and tourism management with kind of a focus in sustainability.
So was the fine dining restaurant servicing, did that kind of drive you into getting your master's in the hospitality world?
Yeah, it did. It's kind of a funny story how I happened upon that master's degree, because a lot of people are like, why would you go on that journey? But I actually originally had wanted to do my master's in disaster relief, and that's kind of broad, right? But my father-in-law worked in disaster relief for years, going to different countries and states when there had been disasters and kind of helping them through that process. And I got my bachelor's degree in psychology, and I felt like that was, could translate really well. And I really just wanted to help people. That was my main goal was, how can I have a career that feels fulfilling where I can help the most people? And so I was looking to try to find a master's degree like that, and come to find out it doesn't really exist. There are a few, but it's not something that's kind of widely offered. And I knew at that point when I was looking for my master's degree, I didn't want to move, so I wanted it to be something I could do online. And I was, like I said, already working in the restaurant industry, and I was seeing a lot of the negative effects of that. So, kind of from behind the scenes, seeing what tourism can kind of do to a city. There's so many benefits, but then there are definitely ways that it can kind of negatively impact the population that live there, right? So when I was looking for, a master's program, I happened upon the tourism development master's program through Colorado State. And I, read about it, and I really liked that they were focusing on the broad effects of tourism and then kind of that focus in sustainability. So how can we make it more beneficial and sustainable for not only, the tourism industry, but the people that live in the place people are coming to be tourists in, right? And I think not a lot of people think about that and what it's like to live in a place that's a big tourist site.
And Chattanooga is a big tourist site. One of my favorite places in Tennessee.
Yeah.
So going into that, was Chattanooga, was that in your mind? Say you moved there, you told earlier that you moved there when you were like 18. Was Chattanooga, the tourism side of that, was that one of the big things that led you to, okay, I want to help out in this realm?
Yeah, definitely. Because I was, working in these restaurants, kind of started at the bottom and then worked my way up. And I was, seeing all these people come and enjoy Chattanooga, and I love Chattanooga so much, and I loved it the whole time I lived there, and I still love it. But I could see us kind of getting, like I mentioned earlier, slowly kind of priced out of living in Chattanooga, because everything was just kind of becoming more expensive, and the places that we had really enjoyed, throughout my time living there were kind of changing, and it was... there stopped kind of being holes in the wall places we could go to. And I was seeing also the negative impacts of tourists, especially on downtown, because that's where I spent the majority of my time. And, just the waste and the trash that was, kind of coming from that. I was seeing that, and I was just like, this cannot be long term, right? Like how do we keep going in this way, especially because tourism was growing year after year. And I think a lot of people, if they're not in these kinds of hobbies and things, they wouldn't know, but there are so many different types of like marathons and different type like rowing competitions, so many different types of like athletic competitions and things that they have in Chattanooga too. So not only are people coming for, Rock City and Ruby Falls and the aquarium, they're also coming seasonally for these different massive competitions, and they also have music festivals there, and so there's always something happening. It doesn't matter what time of year it is, there's always something huge happening. So it's always kind of there and present.
Okay. So one thing you mentioned is you want to see how you could help the most people, which leads us into you coming here working in the mayor's office. You started off as an AmeriCorps Vista.
Yes.
Explain what that is and how you started here at the city of Jackson.
Yeah. So the way I like to kind of explain AmeriCorps is basically like the Peace Corps for the U.S.
Okay.
Right. So the whole mission of AmeriCorps is to meet the needs of Americans that are in a variety of situations. So they work on education initiatives, poverty alleviation, food insecurity, housing insecurity, all different types of things. So the program is really geared towards getting, freshly graduated students or people who are looking for, a gap year or a new experience to come and do a year of service and give back to the community while also learning new skills. So I was graduating in, December of 2021.
Right.
Yeah.
Because after COVID. Yeah.
And so I was looking for what I was going to do next, and I came across AmeriCorps, and I was like, that sounds perfect for me. It sounds like, the direction I want to go, because I loved my master's program, but I wasn't sure exactly, how I was going to translate those skills. But I wanted to get right into making a difference and also getting involved in the community, because I had just moved here like in June or July. So I was really new to the community.
Yeah.
And so I saw AmeriCorps and I was like, okay, what are the chances there's going to be a posting here? And then I go look, and lo and behold, there's a posting here. So the funny part about it is I actually had no idea that it was involved in the city or the mayor's office at all.
Okay.
I just knew that it was going to be working on the Love Your Block program. And that we were going to, help kind of curb blight in the community. And so I was like all about it. I was like, this is perfect. And then when I go to do my interview, I find out that it's, with the city. And that was, not a direction I had ever expected to go with my career or professional life. And I was a little apprehensive at first. I was like, okay, what is this going to be like? But then once I got here, it was felt like the perfect fit.
And I talked to a couple of our city employees, and I asked them the question: did you ever think, especially for those who grew up here in Jackson, did you ever think you'd be working for the city that you've grown in, that you were raised in? For you, did you ever think you'd ever work for city government at all?
No, definitely not. I always envisioned myself working in, like the nonprofit world, and I didn't really know what to expect at all, working for local government. I hardly knew anything about how it worked, and it was just something that wasn't really on my radar. So no, I didn't expect it to ever happen.
So from AmeriCorps Vista, your next step is what? You went from AmeriCorps Vista, and then you changed your role to, I guess, the main role for this Love Your Block program. We'll talk about that a little bit. What is that called? After you, the Vista, become the...
Yeah, so after my year of service and my
Yes.
Vista ended, I transitioned into Neighborhood Services Director.
Services Director.
Yeah, so that role was essentially heading up the Love Your Block program, and then also starting and working on the other programs that we offered in neighborhood services. So the mobile tool shed, the lawn care assistance program, all the variety of things that we did. But the Love Your Block program was the majority of it.
So talk about the Love Your Block program. What is we've had Elvia on to talk about it from her perspective, but for you, kind of being the director of the entire, division of that department, talk about for you your role in Love Your Block.
Yeah. So Love Your Block for me, I think, was very eye-opening, and I would go as far as to say like life-changing working on that program, because the main goal of the Love Your Block program is to take a little drink. My throat's so scratchy. So it's to assist homeowners in reducing blight in the community and strengthening relationships with between neighbors and with...
You can put your cup on the table. That's fine.
It's just these seasonal, goodness.
Welcome to the South. All
Yeah.
those people, yeah.
Oh my goodness. but strengthening those relationships between neighbors and then with local government too. So mostly working on home repairs, litter cleanups, blight reduction in unused spaces. So think about vacant lots and things like that. So that was, I think, is a really, really amazing and powerful program that we get to run as the city, because it makes such a difference in people's lives. And the impact really cannot be overstated, because these are people's homes.
Yeah.
This is how, a lot of the residents that we worked with and continue to work with are seniors. They usually don't have a lot of family. They don't have people that can help them. And so I think it's easy to look and say, oh, how could you let your house get into that state or whatever it may be? But a lot of people are just like doing good to make it by, And so when you're older and can't really do any of the preventative repairs on your house, things can go downhill pretty quickly. So we were able to kind of come in and help make sure that the home is safe and comfortable to live in, and also looks nice for the neighborhood, and reducing blight, and trying to make sure that we were keeping our neighborhood somewhere that people are proud to live in. And getting to see that transformation of the home, and then the resident, feeling like they've been heard, and they have, been someone who was involved in the process, and that they feel seen by their local government, is really incredible.
And you mentioned, or just wrote this down about local government being seen by local government. You don't hear a lot of just government in general going into that realm of fixing up houses for their citizens. How does it feel for you to do something like this from the local government side, to be able to provide for the citizens of the city? How does that feel for you?
Really great. I mean, it's so interesting because, like you said, it's not really something that a lot of local governments do. But we saw a need, and we saw a gap that was not being filled by anyone else. And that was kind of where the problem lies, that there are other housing programs, but their wait lists were so long, and they weren't, really they were only addressing the larger things, which are so needed.
Yeah.
But there weren't really programs that were addressing those kind of smaller things, like the aesthetic part of the front facing of the home, and making sure that it was looking nice and cohesive with the community. But then simultaneously, we're hearing from residents like, hey, that our neighborhoods look run down, or whatever it may be, or my street doesn't look nice anymore. I remember when it used to. And so being able to kind of help step in and fill that gap, and to say, okay, well, we see this issue, and we're hearing from you, and we want to do something about it, I think is really great, because I think showing that initiative and helping with those preventative things is helping so much in the long run. And it will benefit us as a local government more to do this now and help save those homes and save those people from losing their homes later on. So it feels great.
So I've been a part, of course, of the mayor's office, City of Jackson, for 6 years, and I've been a part of Levy Block since we started.
Yeah.
I've seen the stories. I've been a part of the impact. For you, is there one specific story or one specific resident who sticks out to you the most, that you feel like you just changed their life completely? Can you just briefly talk about that resident or that story that they
Yeah. Yes.
So I know there are a lot.
Yeah,
there are a lot. Is there
lot.
one that just sticks out to you? I think I know which one it is, but I'm gonna just let you go with that.
Yeah, I think you probably do. So there was one resident, a family that we worked with, whose the husband was in dialysis and going through kidney failure, and one of his favorite pastimes was coming and sitting out on the front porch, and he was very quickly approaching being wheelchair bound, and he knew that he was not going to be able to really do that anymore. And the house that they lived in, they had some pretty steep, front steps, and then a really small porch. I wouldn't even call it a porch, just kind of a stepping area to get into the house. And they requested that we build a ramp for them so that when he inevitably had a wheelchair or was walking with a cane, he could get in and out of the house a little bit easier. And so we were able to partner up with Lane College and a few churches and get that done and build a wheelchair ramp. But not only did we build the wheelchair ramp, we also built a large deck and like porch area so he could come and sit out on the porch. Even when he was not really mobile and not really able to do much, he could still come out and sit on the porch. And so I live kind of close by to that house, and so I would drive by frequently and I would see him out there sitting on the porch. And we got to talk with them, before, during, and after the project, and talking with them afterwards and just hearing from them how much that impacted their life. Not only did it save them the cost of building a ramp, because they can be really expensive, especially if you're paying someone else to do it, but it made his quality of life so much easier and better, because he could get in and out of the house without having to worry about it. He could pull his car right up to the ramp, get out of his car, and go up. He didn't have to go up any stairs. And, the wife telling us that she was so happy to see him be able to come out and he was kind of homebound most of the time. He couldn't really do much or get out. So that was his way of still interacting with the world. So seeing him be able to come out and, watch the cars go by and see the neighbors and everything, they were it was really impactful to them. And so seeing that is one of the best parts of doing the work, is being able to see those lasting impacts, because that was something that he was able to enjoy that he wouldn't have otherwise. And, maybe it wasn't aesthetically the best thing that we could have done to the house, but it was the most impactful by far to their family and changed their quality of life.
So those, like I said, the many stories that you have, and we could just do one episode of this just talking about all the stories. So I encourage those who are listening or watching, go check out Love Your Block. Check out the stories. We've got a few videos from the residents themselves. So we have, I don't know if y'all can, well, you can see if I put the camera on it. There are two checks standing behind us here in the studio. We're going to talk about what you're doing now, and it has a lot to do with the checks. But funding for Love Your Block. See, there's one check right here. Let me get it. It's from a community foundation, $6,000.
Yes.
Funding for Love Your Block and things like this. Talk about, first of all, where it came from, and then talk about kind of the big checks that you've gotten so far, and then we'll go into what your current role is. It has a lot to do with grants and things like that, but I'll let you hold that and just talk about.
Yes.
So this first one right now. So
I'll put this down. So this is our most recent grant that we got for Love Your Block. So this is from the Community Foundation of West Tennessee, $6,000 for us to add additional capacity to the repair program.
Okay.
So this, basically will translate to being able to repair 3 homes. So we work with a really tight budget. We try to be really good stewards of our resources and try to, do the most that we can with our funding. So we applied for this grant to be able to add capacity to the program, and this will allow us to work on several homes. So we're really thankful for it. And this is, like I said, the most recent one that we've gotten. But
so June 2025. So this, it's most recent.
Yeah.
So funding for Love Your Block, it's it's not a nonprofit, but receiving funding does help.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, so the program actually started as a grant program through cities of service, through Johns Hopkins University, the Bloomberg Center for Public Innovation. Okay. So it started as a grant that lasted for 2 years. And, in addition to the grant, it was kind of clear really quickly that if we wanted to make as much impact on the community as possible, is that we needed to always be looking for additional funding so we can add new programs like the lawn care assistance program and things like that. And meet needs in different ways other than just, repairs, because there's so many other needs too. So we were looking for funding basically from day one. So I want to say I can't remember the exact time frame, but maybe it was 3 years. We raised over $30,000 in donations. So in sponsorships, in-kind donations, so that materials, labor, things like that helped us continue the program and add capacity to it. And now I'm so happy that we're part of the city budget, part of the general fund. But that doesn't mean that we've stopped looking for grants.
Right.
And we're always on the hunt for looking, for additional funding that can support the program.
Like I said, I had Elvia on a few lessons back, and she talked about some of the things like the lawn care and one of the major things that y'all did, the mobile tool shed. Mm-hmm. She mentioned that. I mean, that's an amazing thing for a city government to have, to allow residents to rent tools, to even rent the entire van. So I encourage people to also look into that mobile tool shed. Another big check we have over here is from AARP.
Yes.
For $20,000. And these are just two of the big checks that we've gotten from under the neighborhood services. Talk about what this $20,000 is for, where it's from, how we got it. Just go for it.
Yeah, so this is from AARP, as you can see. So this is from their 2025 Community Challenge Grant.
Okay.
And we applied for this funding to host an ADU design competition.
Okay.
So we all know that there is a housing shortage across the country, and Jackson is, no exception to that. And so we are always looking for creative and unique ways that we can add additional housing to the community, or we can maybe renovate what we already have, or whatever it may be. And so this grant allows us to host a design competition for professionals or students to submit designs for ADUs, which, if you don't know what that is, accessory dwelling unit.
Okay.
So think of a detached garage that has an apartment above it. That's an ADU. Think about a little, small guest house in the back. That's an ADU.
Okay.
So having those additional kinds of smaller housing options creates more housing for the older generation, maybe people who are looking to downsize and they want to rent out their main home. They can relocate to an ADU, and then they have an additional source of income.
Nice.
They have a smaller space to take care of, maybe more accessibility features. So the goal of this is for the designs to be age-friendly, so that we can help older residents age in place so that they can, remain in that home as long as they need or want to, and then also potentially open up the main home for younger families or for new residents, and just kind of create additional housing options. So that's actually underway right now.
Right.
We've received our submissions. We got 15 submissions from all over the country.
That's awesome.
We're really excited about it. And we'll be reviewing all those submissions tomorrow and announcing the winners shortly. Okay.
So this one's from AARP. This isn't the only big check from AARP that we've gotten, or the only grant that we've gotten. Talk about those real quick, the other AARP grants. Shout out to AARP.
Yeah, for real.
and talk about that, and if you know, just off the top of your head, or estimate how many grants or how much we've gotten while you've been here.
So the one that I got from AARP before this one was I think it was 2022 for their Community Challenge Grant also. Okay. And that was to help start the community fridges here in town. So I don't know how many people are familiar with those, but I think most people know about the blessing boxes. Yeah. So I saw those, and we saw that need out in the community for additional fresh food that people could access for free. And so we started the community fridges with that funding. So that was 2022. And then I think it was 2020. It wasn't me, but Lauren Kirk applied for the Community Challenge Grant as well, to help with some transportation initiatives here in town, and got that one as well. So this is our third consecutive grant that we've gotten from the Community Challenge Grant from AARP that we've applied for 3, we've gotten 3, so 3 for 3.
3 for 3,
Yeah.
undefeated. It's not like that.
And then funding-wise, through grants, since I've been here, it's hard to fully estimate because, was it last year? Or no, it was 2023. Was it? No, it was 2024. I remember because I was pregnant and we were out working on the houses. We got awarded an NCCC team from AmeriCorps to come and help us for a month with labor on homes. So we worked on so many homes in that month. And it's hard to even estimate what the cost would be from that because that was, traditionally in kind from them. But the amount of money that they saved us on labor alone is just insane.
So grants, not necessarily straight up money, but there's people who can help out. Here's an award for you.
Yes.
So in your new role as Service Innovation Director, you just started recently. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
You'll be doing a lot more, not necessarily writing grants, but finding ways to help other departments find those grants, make sure they have them on time and turned in so that we could get some more money to help supplement not having to use taxpayer dollars to pay for certain things. Talk about your new role and what you look forward to in the future in that role.
Yeah. So my new role is kind of 2 parts. So you touched on one, the grant side. So I'll be helping all departments find, apply for, do reporting and close out on all grants for a variety of things that they may need. And then on the other side, I'll be working on data. So one of the things that we're looking at is what kind of data do we collect across the city, and what are we not collecting that could be of use. And basically, we're looking at all of this data and trying to see a few things. So one, are we serving residents in the best way possible? Are there any gaps? Are there ways that we can improve on our services? And then 2, how can we use that data to look for grants? So, for instance, the Animal Care Center, I just met with them last week, so they're fresh on my mind. They track everything. You wouldn't believe all the data.
Whitney tracks everything to the T.
Yes, everything. So how can we use that data to help get them more funding, to help advocate for the Animal Care Center and things like that? And so we're hoping to use that data to help serve our residents better, to make sure that we're being efficient in our departments, and then make sure that we are able to effectively get resources to help fill any gaps or needs that we have. So you asked what I'm most excited about. Like I mentioned before, I feel that one of my callings and passions in life is to help people. And so I am really excited about being able to kind of help come alongside these departments that maybe don't necessarily have the capacity to look for additional funding, but they have so many great ideas. And that's what I've, learned from sitting down with them, is that they all have a passion for making sure that they are serving residents in the best way possible, that they are, above standard for everything, and they just want to do more, and they just want to help more. And so being able to help kind of give an extra hand to find resources that can help them start new programs or get new equipment or get new software or whatever it may be that will help them in the long run. I'm really excited about that.
Help the most people, from AmeriCorps Vista to the new Service Innovation Director, Abby Palmer. Thank you for coming on to East Main 101. I look forward to continuing working with you to see the progress that we're going to make here in the city of Jackson. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
So before we go, we always have a pop quiz at the end, just 3 questions that I ask my guests to just get to know them a little better. So pop quiz question number 1, you say you grew up, you moved to Chattanooga when you were like 18. So what was your favorite thing to do while you were in Chattanooga?
There's so many great things
So-
there.
so many great
it's
things. I can tell you.
it is so hard to pick, but I would definitely say hiking.
Okay.
I mean, I know that's probably what it's most known for is the mountains and everything, but some amazing hiking trails there, some really great overlooks and waterfalls, and some of my favorite memories were going on hikes there, going camping on those mountains. So definitely favorite thing by far.
Is this before or after you met Ethan? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. So you got married in Chattanooga, yes? Or,
Yeah.
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
you said you're celebrating 7 years this week.
Mm-hmm.
So hiking, that's whenever I go to Chattanooga, I haven't been hiking, but me and my wife, we went. We've gone to Chattanooga a few times. She goes as a cheerleading coach at the convention center they have there, but we always go to the aquarium.
Mm-hmm.
We're,
So fun.
we're over 30. We love the aquarium. We took
Mhm.
our daughter there. We also have a 1-year-old daughter. We took her there, and she was half asleep the first go around, but we're going to take her back again. Loved it.
So
I
much
love
fun.
Chattanooga. Just driving to Chattanooga. Here in West Tennessee, everything is just all flat. Get to Nashville, it's just bustling. You get to Chattanooga, you go over that hill, or you're going. I think you're going up or down when you get there. It's just, especially in the fall, it's just beautiful just to drive through and see it. So,
Yes.
shout out to Chattanooga, our sister city over in East Tennessee. So, pop quiz question number 2 is: what is one thing on your bucket list that you haven't crossed off that you really want to?
Oh man. Going to Asia. I really, really want to. So a lot of people probably don't know that my husband was born in Asia. So he was born in the Philippines and then lived there, Thailand and Singapore until he was 16.
Wow.
Yeah, and so
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of the things that we've talked about since we first met is going to see all the places, especially Thailand, and we haven't been able to make it over there yet. So that's definitely on my bucket list and something that I hope we can do in the next few years.
I've been to Japan and South Korea back when I was in college. Amazing. Thailand, those areas that you talk about, they sound even more amazing. But Asia, that area where I went, they told us when we went, it's like, all right, when y'all go, it'll be a lot quieter. And when you get back to the States, you will realize how quiet it is. Even though there are a lot more people, it truly is quiet. It amazes me how many people there are, how much is going on, but how quiet it is compared to here in the States. It's amazing. So I hope you get to go. I really do. But I did not know Ethan. I knew you mentioned how Ethan was born there, but I didn't know he had been there for that long. I mean, 16, you know what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
Was it family? Did he have family, military?
His parents were missionaries.
Okay, so they lived over there.
Yeah.
So has he been back since?
No.
No. So neither one of you have been back. So
Yeah, so he really wants to show me around.
that'll be an amazing trip, I believe. And now with your baby girl,
Yes.
that's a good experience for her as well.
Yes, I think she'll love it
Awesome.
too.
So pop quiz question number 3. You say you haven't been to Asia yet. No, that's a continent. What of the countries that you've been, we talked about it earlier that you've traveled all over. What's your favorite country that you've ever been to?
Man. I think, so it's hard. I think it's maybe a tie.
Okay.
So
I'll do top 3.
top 3?
Top 3.
Okay, so I think Portugal is probably, I'll say that's my number 1.5.
Okay.
It's incredible. So the beaches are amazing. The people are so nice. The food is delicious and cheap. It's so easy to get around. It's incredible quality of life there.
Okay.
Love Portugal. The Netherlands is also one of my top, I would say probably 2. Same thing there. The people are great. The cities are insanely beautiful. Just seeing that architecture and thinking about how many, hundreds of years that's all been there. And the cobblestone streets and the history, it's just so cool. And just the parks and the beautiful outdoor spaces there, I love. And then I would say 3 would be Germany. So that's where I spent the majority of my time when traveling. I studied abroad in Germany, so That was incredible. But the castles, I know, like, you see them in pictures or, videos or whatever, and they look so massive and insane. And they're even crazier in person.
Wow.
And just so cool. And you talk about mountains, in Chattanooga, it's the same way in Germany, just like mountains everywhere.
Portugal, Netherlands, and Germany. Those are three totally different areas of the world. That's awesome. I see pictures of the Netherlands. That's one place, it's one of those silent places that you don't think about, but when somebody brings it up, it's like, you know what? That sounds like it'll be a good trip.
Yeah.
So
definitely worthwhile to visit.
See about finding a way to get to the Netherlands at some point. So, Abby Palmer, Director of Service Innovation. Again, thank you for coming on East Main 101. I appreciate you, and again, look forward to the incredible things that you have coming up in your role.
Thank you so
City
much.
Jackson.
It's been great.
Thank you again. So that does it for Lesson 36 of East Main 101. Don't forget to follow us on all of our government social media accounts and opt into our text alerts by visiting connect.jacksontn.gov. And be sure to visit eastmain101.jacksontn.gov to subscribe to our YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcast channels to listen to each lesson in its entirety. And until next lesson, might be fall break next week. Class dismissed.